I'll pay you double. The words should not have meant anything. Clients said things like that all the time when they wanted faster service. Rich people especially. Money was their universal language, but Alina Cross did not stop there. She placed the check on the kitchen counter between us, slow, careful, like she was setting down something fragile. Then she leaned closer, close enough that I could feel her breath against my ear, and she whispered something that made every alarm in my head go off. Daniel, I want you to pretend to be my husband tonight. I stepped back immediately, not because I was offended, because the way she said it sounded like the most dangerous thing I had heard in years. I looked at the check again, 5 times the amount I had quoted. Mrs. Cross, I said carefully, I fix electrical problems. I don't do whatever this is. Her eyes didn't leave mine. They'll believe you, she said quietly. You look like the kind of man who doesn't lie. That was the moment I realized something. This wasn't a joke. It wasn't flirting either. She looked terrified. And when a billionaire looks terrified, something is very wrong. I shook my head. You should probably explain what's going on. Because the truth was simple. I had a 7-year-old daughter waiting for me at daycare, and I had spent the last 5 years making one rule for my life. No risks, no complications, no rich people problems. But Alina Cross was staring at me like I was the only lifeline she had left. And the worst part was, a small voice in my head was already asking the question I didn't want to answer. What kind of trouble could make someone like her this desperate? 3 months earlier, I had never heard of Alina Cross. I was just Daniel Harper, electrician, single dad, owner of a truck that made a rattling noise every time it hit 40 miles an hour. My mornings started the same way every day. Wake up at 6. Make pancakes if Lily was in a good mood. Toast if she was. Daddy, dinosaurs probably ate pancakes, she announced one Tuesday morning while sitting cross-legged at the kitchen table. Pretty sure they ate other dinosaurs, I said. She frowned like I had just insulted science. Well, that seems rude. Lily Harper was 7 years old. She believed velociraptors could open doors. She hated broccoli. And she was the reason my entire life had a schedule tighter than a train timetable. Her mom left when Lily was 2. No drama, no big fight, just a suitcase and a quiet sentence. I don't think motherhood is for me. So it became just us, which meant daycare drop-offs, soccer practices, bedtime stories about dragons who learned math, and a constant background fear that I might mess something up. You don't get a manual for raising a human, you just hope love is enough. That Tuesday morning I dropped Lily off at daycare at 6:43 a.m. At 6:48 my phone rang. Dispatch. Daniel, we've got a service call in Westridge Hills. That neighborhood had houses bigger than small hotels. Rich clients usually wanted the same thing. Fast service, no conversation, and absolute invisibility. Garage light flickering, the dispatcher continued. Client requested the earliest appointment. Got it. By 7:15 my truck was rolling through iron gates and perfectly trimmed trees. Westridge Hills always felt like driving into another planet. Mailboxes nicer than my entire apartment building. Driveways longer than a football field. My GPS stopped in front of a house made of glass and steel. Minimalist. Expensive. The kind of place that looked like an art gallery pretending to be a home. I grabbed my toolbox and walked up the stone path. Before I could knock, the door opened. The woman standing there looked younger than I expected. Early 30s maybe, dark jeans, cream sweater, no makeup. But her eyes caught my attention immediately. Not arrogant, not curious, just tired. You're the electrician, she said. Yes, ma'am, Daniel Harper. She stepped aside. Garage light, it's been flickering for 3 days, drives me insane. Inside the house everything echoed. High ceilings, glass walls, furniture that looked expensive but uncomfortable. She led me through the kitchen to the garage. 3 cars could have fit inside, only one did. A sleek black sedan that probably cost more than my truck and apartment combined. It's that fixture, she said. I set up the ladder and opened the light. Loose wire, 5-minute fix. While I worked, I noticed something strange. She didn't leave. Most wealthy clients vanished the moment I started working, but Alina stayed, not hovering. Just watching like she was trying to understand something. How long? She asked. 10 minutes. She nodded. Silence filled the garage. Then she said something unexpected. Do you like your work? I glanced down at her. No client had ever asked that. Yeah, I said slowly, I do. Why? Because when something's broken, you fix it. I tightened the wire and replaced the cover. Simple. She looked at the steady light, then back at me. That must be nice. What? Fixing things. For a moment her expression changed, like she had almost said something else. Then it disappeared. She wrote me a check, handed it over. Thank you, Mr. Harper. Daniel's fine. She walked me to the door, and just before I left she asked one more question. Do you ever regret the life you chose? I frowned. I didn't choose it. She tilted her head. No. My daughter did. For the first time that morning, Alina Cross smiled. Not polite, not professional, real. And I remember thinking something strange. That smile looked like relief, like she had just confirmed something important. I didn't know it then. But that small moment was the beginning of everything. Because 3 days later, my phone rang again, and Alina Cross said something that would quietly rearrange my entire life. Daniel, she said, I have a different kind of job for you. And if I had known what she was about to ask, I might have hung up the phone right there, but I did. And that's how I ended up standing in her kitchen months later, staring at a check worth 5 times my monthly rent, while a billionaire whispered a request that could destroy both our lives. Please, Alina said softly, just pretend to be my husband tonight. And the worst part was, I could see tears in her eyes. I stared at the check, then at Alina, then back at the check again. 5 times the price, I said slowly. That's not a service call. No, she admitted, it's a problem. She nodded once, yes. For a moment neither of us spoke. The kitchen was quiet except for the low hum of the refrigerator and the faint ticking of a clock somewhere in the house. I slid the check back across the counter. I'm not taking that. Her eyebrows pulled together. Why? Because whatever this is, I said, it's not electrical work. You'd still be helping me. That doesn't change anything. Her shoulder